The Dark Realm is a difficult place to live. Plants grow weakly and twisted in the lack of sunlight. Mercenary work and banditry are rife, as it pays more than basic farming or hunting. The realm at large is ruled over from the great city of Guardia, an overpopulated, sinful place ruled over by a baleful king that we haven't seen in years. There is an elven kingdom to the south, ruled by the sequestered shadow elves, a dwarven kingdom lost to the mountains of the west, and a tiefling kingdom among the volcanic rock of the islands in the north. Great patches of our land are poisoned and deserted. There are tribal villages, beasts, goblins, and orc warbands, of course, but we're trapped here. The mists are a mystery. Most who enter them never return. Those that do are changed in such a way that they are unrecognizable or utterly insane. Nothing comes out of the mist, but it surrounds us, calls out, poisons, frightens. Couple that with the almost endless darkness, and the Dark Realm is a very difficult place to live.
So, after defeating the ants, you find yourselves a little bit lost in the desert-like wastelands which are just outside of Dandalo. You've spent enough time out in this wastelands to pretty much entirely lose any sense of direction without the use of the moon. You can't see Dandalo in the distance. It's dark out. You're looking and attempting to work your way sort of northeast to an area known as Twin Rock, which is a set of two similar looking, very, very tall mesas that mark the midway point between Dandalo and the road back up to Kira. Last time you pretty much all failed all of your checks. The forage check for some mushrooms for the day, and perception checks to keep an eye out for any dangers and threats, and your navigational check to ensure that you were kind of heading in the right direction. And while you're not so like incredibly lost that you find yourselves in another country or anything like that, you are kind of off the direction that you were headed, whether that be that it's very cloudy or there was just a lot of distraction on the travel. The area is for the most part kind of just a flat wasteland, and I think your understanding of the area was that it was essentially just a flat wasteland, but you also find yourselves in amongst quite a few mesas now. There are holes that pock the ground, one of which was containing a nest with all of these ants in. And it gives you a kind of idea that you're kind of off. I was going to say the road, but there is no road. You're off course. Everyone give me perception checks to start us off today. Let's get an idea of what sort of state you're in. With these ants defeated and the area around you kind of devoid of any sort of immediate danger, what is your plan here, your general plan? Because if you want to just keep on moving, we'll roll some more travel dice and you guys can continue on the journey, unless you had plans to maybe rest or do anything else in particular.
How long have we been traveling before we reach the ants?
It was, I think, half of the day. So let me double check, because I don't think I wrote it down correctly at the end of the last session. I believe you left Dandelo at like 4-ish, so that means it is nighttime. I think the sun had just set, so that makes sense because you had 8 hours of daylight, so it's probably around 7 or 8 in the evening, so probably 3 or 4 hours of travel at the moment. Let's say it's around 8 p.m. ish.
Is anyone really messed up? Like, did anyone get messed up really bad?
No. Well, I'm fine. I think Will maybe took a few hits. You're muted, I think?
He got hit so hard he's muted.
Broke his voice box.
Yeah.
Voice
There it is. Sorry, I have...
Will also got a bunch of dust in his lungs, so if Will's coughing today, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I misplaced my my hotkey for the mute button there. No, I was actually I'm not messed up. In fact, pretty sure it deflected every single attack they made except one for the entire fight.
Nice.
I still wouldn't be opposed to having a short rest for us all.
What say you, Warlock? Do you want a short rest?
I wouldn't say no. I used a hex last time, which lasts for another 8 hours now, so we can rest.
Okay.
Okay. With your perception checks there, you are fully aware that there is no danger here, that at least that you understand. There isn't any more of these ants. There isn't like a band of orcs marching towards you or anything like that. The area that you're in, again, is kind of hilly. There are lots of these holes in the ground, but not really anywhere that makes for a perfect camping spot. A plateau or a cave or something to put your backs again. Really, your best bet may be to sort of just pitch the tent here, maybe make a small fire right where you are, and just take the rest as it is. It doesn't seem like there's anywhere here that you're going to find a better rest spot. Would just be pretty equal without traveling a bit further on. Under the assumption that you do that, you guys can begin your short rest. Short rest is really only about an hour. It's just without doing any sort of strenuous activity, casting spells or anything like that. You guys essentially just sit down, I would assume. Bandage up a couple of wounds, maybe grab a snack, and let's have... Who floated the idea? It was Disby. So roll me a d12, please. A 4. And then roll me a d3. Because things have changed.
Things have changed.
Only a little bit.
He's altered the bargain.
I've altered the bargain. You become stronger, I become stronger. Yeah. So, who's doing what during this hour? Is anyone doing anything specific?
I think I would probably spend the time trying to determine sense of direction, like waiting. Maybe if the sun shows itself for a second and we know, like, oh, the sun, you know, in this world, you know, who knows, it sets in the east or whatever, like basic navigation. If I can catch any clues during the hour that we're sitting there.
Yeah, there's definitely no sunlight, but you can use, well, actually roll me a survival check. We'll see. Let's see what fate has in store for you instead.
My elite survival skills.
I think maybe this is what is causing you to struggle to navigate this day. Maybe it's just extremely cloudy, and traveling by nighttime using constellations or the moon is really your best bet. I think maybe it's just incredibly overcast. It's very difficult to figure out where you're going. At one point in the day, there was maybe a very like strong northerly wind that just shifted at one point, and there was just so many elements to this that made it difficult to move. the endless open flat wastelands just is so very confusing to stare at and look at for multiple hours on end as you walk before eventually losing the sunlight. I think you have an idea of which way north is, based on maybe moonlight or something like that, but I don't think it's I don't know if you're too confident at this point. It does feel like you're just kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it's just almost pitch darkness around you in all directions. Anyone doing anything else? Well, Will, you probably spend the time trying to figure this out, and it is just a constant staring up. Maybe scouting the area a little bit as well, seeing if you can find any sort of tracks or anything that would give way to an idea of a direction in which to go. But at some point you got turned around, and I think you do have an idea of which way is north, but I don't know if you feel confident about it necessarily.
So do compasses exist in this world?
I think probably rudimentary ones, maybe, but
Okay.
I don't there's not much by way of real tinkering and technology.
Okay, that's I mean, after spending
It's
most of the
really
rest
hard
trying to
medieval.
determine direction, at some point I would just get frustrated, go like sit back down with the party and say, if only there were something that pointed north. Make this so much easier.
Did we get any of our level up stuff now, or do we have to wait till the long rest?
So you get, you can take all of your level up things, but you don't regain the spell slots or the HP that you lost until you do a long rest. Unless you're a warlock, in which case you will get your warlock spells on a short rest.
Yep. In that case, I'd be, I think sat alone, kind of shrouding. Every now and then you see like this sort of mist appear and like climb up Fix's legs as the same way you'd seen the misty step before, but it kind of gets to a point and then stops again, and then there's sort of like rumbles in the earth around Fix, and then they're just kind of like flipping through their notebook like curiously, and if you would look over Fix's shoulder, you'd see sketches of Will using his Thunderwave spell and how it looked when he was doing that. And yeah, you'd see sort of eventually Fix come to sort of a conclusion as they like snap their ungauntleted fingers, and kind of just look quite accomplished, quite pleased with themselves. And that's it. I wouldn't be doing anything in particular, I think, other than that.
Okay.
I would scavenge for mushrooms.
I'll help you do that. If I see you doing it, I'll help.
Yeah, give me a survival check. You have disadvantage and then advantage, so it's just going to be a flat survival check from Merlin. 19.
19.
Let me roll a dice.
Oh no.
Because you've technically failed your survival check already for foraging, but I'll see. This is really just to see if this affects your short rest. Because you're not meant to really be doing anything. But I think if you're kind of casually wandering around looking, I'll base it on luck. And you had to be a 16, which you did. So, let's have a quick, let me quickly open up this document. So what you don't find is the mushrooms, those common mushrooms that you've been using to make your usual potions of healing, but you do find something. Roll me a d12.
6.
A 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is. And then roll me a nature check to see if you know what this is.
21.
21. So what you find is a thing
A thing?
known as... That is not what it is. Ash blossom. Maybe you have never actually seen this before, depending on how much time you spent in the desert, but you're a forest gnome. But for whatever reason, whether you've bought some before, encountered some before, read about it, you do find a little tiny little flower with a with red petals and a yellow center. What you understand about this is that you can eat it, and it will burn you. It will literally damage you. It's not like chili pepper hot. It's like dangerous poison kind of hot. But you can use it to brew fire-related potions, such as a potion of fire resistance or maybe a potion of fire breath.
Oh, wow.
If you want to try, you can roll me a herbalism kit. You have to beat a 15.
All right,
You got to tell me which one you're trying to make, resistance or breath.
I think I'll go with resistance.
Okay.
All right, here's the roll. 14.
Oh, the one singular tiny little flower. You begin
Darn
to
it.
sit with the others around this, or well, nothing probably. You probably all just sat down near this pit, and you go at it. You start to break down this little flower. You add some water, add a couple of little ingredients. Maybe you're doing this from memory more than anything else. Like you read a book a long time ago, and you're like, I think this is how you do it, and you get pretty close. Once you finish with it, you look at the potion, and you're probably aware that this isn't a potion by the end of it. The alchemy here was pretty close, but what you've made is just a poisonous drink. You can keep it. Anybody that drinks this will take 1d4 fire damage, but really you've just made ash blossom juice, which I'll write down in our group for you as well, just in case you ever want to add it or use it for something. That is what you've made. Pretty close. While you're in the desert, you can try and forage for more of this, or you can forage for the other stuff that makes the potions of healing. You just got to tell me if you do a forage check while traveling in this desert from now on.
Gotcha.
What is fire doing this whole time?
Was helping find the flower, I guess. And then probably just watching very intently as Merlin tried and failed to do whatever this was. And it's just like, oh, you'll get him next time.
Yeah, I'll still hold on to this. You never know when you'll need something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally.
Okay. After about an hour, you guys can either roll some hit die if you want to recover some HP, or and also whatever things you get back on a short rest that are abilities or spells that come back on short rests, they return. You don't really encounter anything else. Nothing's coming after you. There is no danger present, as presumably whatever potentially would be here avoids it thanks to the fire ants, but they aren't here either. So you get the hour pretty cleanly, and you can set out again. Who's doing what as you begin to attempt to head out again? You're going to need a pass on your survival check to not become any more loss. That's it.
Yeah, I'll be helping navigate.
Navigation. Don't roll it yet.
Okay.
I will assist in navigation because if we don't figure that out real quick, we're gonna have a problem.
Is Vita, is he even able to navigate? Roll me an intelligence check with Vita. Like, does he know which way is north? Like, you're like, make sure we're going north. Yeah, he does.
He's got
Barely.
-2 to intelligence.
Yeah,
I
but
was looking.
whether it's just through
Yeah,
osmosing
yeah.
it through you, it's kind of almost a human concept. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'd say he can help. Okay, so 3 navigators there. Is that correct?
Yeah, between me, Will, and Vita. Yeah.
Okay, Fire, what are you doing?
I'm watching out for any enemies, like scouting around and making sure there's not any fire ant holes.
Yep, and Merlin?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms. What specifically after the what are they called? The
The healing
Amanita
ones.
mushrooms? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that is survival checks from everyone except for Fire, who needs to make me a perception check. Ooh.
Well, he's trying.
He was like, I understand the concept of
That
north.
one.
Absolutely trying, yes.
Damn.
Yes, you together work to figure out which way north is. I think it takes a little while. You realize that you were kind of heading north before, when you were more trying to head northeast. You guys kind of just lost track a little bit and kind of started heading directly north towards where on this map there is kind of like a mountainous range up here. I think rather than you guys heading this way, you kind of ended up kind of more over here. You guys are trying to head towards these twin rocks here, and you get back on course, but you realize that you've added a few hours of time. Nothing too crazy, but it's certainly you kind of taken a bit of a longer route here, and you most likely went off the more traditional route that anybody who does use the Twin Rocks route to make a shortcut. You're probably off of whatever route they use, if there is anything that even determines that. Merlin, during this travel, you do find small patches of mushrooms. You find these red amanita mushrooms, these very, very common mushrooms. Out here, they are small and kind of weak and sickly looking, but not in a way that you feel like it would poison anyone or anything. It's just a sign of the land. But mushrooms and fungi kind of grow in a lot of places, and while the land out here really does struggle to grow anything, there are things like mushrooms, ash blossoms, twisted cacti looking things that do grow. It's just extremely scarce, and you manage to find a few of them, enough to probably forge a potion later on. Fire, while everybody is kind of getting everyone back on course, you are the first to recognize that during this travel you've picked up on this kind of constant noise. There is a strange droning noise that starts to I wouldn't even say, it's not even something that you necessarily immediately hear. It's almost like an energy first that you pick up on, as the air itself has an energy to it. There is maybe the hairs on your arms stand on end a little bit, and there's just a kind of strange droning noise ahead of you. With that 22 perception in the darkness, after a little while you come to an area that remains kind of hilly. This area with the mesas and flat plateaus. You recognize that there is a large mesa with a plateau on it, and there are 4 pools of water around it, and you maybe scouting ahead of everybody else. The closer you get, the more that droning kind of your elven ears pick up on it, and you realize that you've stumbled into an area that must be something, an area that somebody has built up in some way, because each of these 4 small pools have a great big granite slab sticking up out of them, a column that kind of tapers off and points at the top. There are 4 of them in front of this plateau that sits in the middle of this desert. One of them is larger than the others. The largest of these 4 columns is about 50 feet tall, and the other 3 coming out of these smaller pools of water are around 30 feet high. Before the others catch up and you do a quick scout out of the area, you get the sense this place is completely deserted of life. It doesn't seem like there's anyone or anything here that you can immediately pick up on, at least. And it seems like this place has been deserted for a long time, but there is kind of wooden structuring strewn around, covered in like dust and debris. You can see that there are planks and man-made objects, as if maybe once upon a time there was a structure here, or small structures lost and abandoned. What do you do?
I will stop. Guys?
They're not here yet. You're on your own. You scouted ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just wait for them to come up. I don't want to get very close. And I want to make sure they don't go any further than I am.
Yeah, other 3 of you, Vita doesn't need to make the check. Just give me perception checks.
17.
17, 9, 17.
Also 17.
The 2 17s, probably before you actually reach fire, you start to hear that kind of droning, tulling noise as you get closer. And just like fire, the hairs on the nape of your neck stand up a little bit, almost like a static energy in the air. And the there's an odd energy ahead of you, not necessarily uncomfortable, but you would become aware of it, I think. Merlin, it takes you a little bit longer for whatever reason before eventually you catch up with fire and Merlin. They're all standing around, probably quizzically looking, before you are distracted, maybe looking over these mushrooms in your hands. And you look up and notice that there are these big granite slabs, these columns sticking up out of these pools of water. Fire kind of ahead of you heads back to meet with the group. And what would you all like to do here?
Anyone know what this is?
Probably.
Can I detect magic?
Here's what I'll do for you. This is going to scare you, but don't worry. It's just a map.
Oh no.
Just a map. To give you an idea of what you're looking at here. 4 pillars in front of you. The obvious things you notice in this area as you look up towards these big columns, these granite slabs that are sticking up out of these small pools of water. There are markings written upon each of these columns. There is kind of simplistic, crude depictions of tieflings fighting with snake-like creatures, and each of the columns has a very overt obsidian disc, which is about the size of maybe a small shield, like a buckler. Quite low down, just above maybe where head height might be, for those of you that are of average height. Sorry, Merlin. And you can see that they have an emblem on each one that seem to represent one of the 4 elements: fire on the central column, water, air, and earth on the other 3. Merlin, if you want to detect magic, remember it's a 30 feet thing, so you kind of wander around doing this.
Yeah, I think I would. I guess I would attempt to go to each one and see if any one of these possess magical properties.
Okay. So. Let's see here. You cast this spell. Merlin begins to wander around the area, as he probably does, or every now and then when you recognize Merlin casting one of these spells, scratching at his beard and looking up at the columns. There is a strong sense of magic here. I'll give you one element of the magic that isn't really from a school of magic, but there is a sense of elemental magic here. You just get the understanding that using the elements is a thing. There is on each of these columns a spell that would feel like conjuration magic to you. The type of spells that would allow you to pull a rabbit from a hat, or conjure an elemental creature, or even find familiar, which is what Vita, that spell is that Thingy Fix casts. I forget everyone's
Thingy.
names. I'm so sorry. It's because I go to call you Fire every time, and then when I go to speak
Yeah.
Fire, I sometimes want to say
That's fine.
Fix, and it's how it goes.
That's fine.
And I've had 2 hours sleep. And you get more of a sense of conjuration magic from each of these columns. The water around them is affected by the magic, but not necessarily magic themselves. It is simply the columns, these 4 columns, that are giving off that kind of droning tone. They're charging the air around them. They were packed with magic probably hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And for the most part, it feels like a conjuration spell that is really the strongest school of magic you get from these columns. Give me an investigation or an arcana check as well, Merlin. Since we'll just have you do this. Damn, 27. This actually looks very similar to the and maybe you understand it to be very, very similar spell casting or enchanting kind of to the huge slabs of stone that you guys encountered when you were under the mountain, when there was a waterfall. Looking and walking up to one of these, Merlin, you look up and peer up, looking at the huge slab. Do you step in the water at any point?
You know what? I will, because I don't think Merlin would sense any danger from stepping into the water.
You step into the water, maybe cautiously with your first step, and it comes up to about your ankles. You realize that these are just really little more than just enormous puddles that just do not seem to be drying up or changing with the weather at all. Again, being kind of charged with this magical energy. The droning becomes louder for you as soon as you make contact with this water, and a static electricity runs across your body, but not in much more, like, not like a painful way or an actual electric shock. And you step up to, let's say, just the central pillar, because it's nice and big and easy to approach. And when you do so, you can see that written along the column around the depictions of the snakes and the tieflings, there is the representation of the fire element on this kind of obsidian disc, which is embedded into this column. And underneath it is an opening which is about the size of a football, something that you could place something inside, very similar to those slabs that you dealt with way back when, quite near the beginning of the campaign, where you had to place steam in one and you put ice in another, and it's the same kind of deal. You also notice that there are writings in a do you speak Infernal, Merlin?
No.
Maybe you can
My
recognize
forte.
it. There is infernal writing written below the opening on this. Each of the columns has the same thing going on. It's just that one of these columns is just much larger than the other ones. Merlin, the power coming from the central column is stronger than the other 3. You just get the sense that they're linked, but this is just a central power source for all 4 of these columns.
I guess Merlin would then fixate on the small opening that is there on the fire pillar. I would probably run by this with the rest of the gang before I did anything. So Merlin would probably then express everything that he's uncovered through detecting magic and stuff. I don't propose we intend to do something here. I am very curious about these pillars, though, and what they might do if we somehow unlock their abilities. I sense a lot of power.
This seems quite the nostalgia trip, doesn't it? Reminds me of that cave back where we all met.
Doesn't it?
Well, I guess I see no harm in it if you want to try and open it. I don't think it was a trap. If it were a trap, it would have sprung already when you walked up to it, yeah? This seems more like a lock holding a container shut.
I sense no danger here.
Now that, however, is famous last words, so I'm going to step back while you do it.
I will step forward and I will stand near Merlin. Solidarity.
I will also inspect the pillar, see if it looks like the one from the mists, like Fairlight, or like Will mentioned.
You can give me a history check with advantage. All of you can tell that it is similar, but also very much not. The huge slabs that you found that were charged with energy inside the under the mountain that was in the mist. The three of them were the three states of water, gas, solid, liquid, and each of them had these huge indents and runs of lines that were moving up and down them that were glowing. They had the same. It's the same kind of enchantment. It is the same kind of enchantment, but only maybe Merlin understands this with his spell active, and he could relay this to you. The people who would have cast that spell in the cave and the people that would have created this spell here would most likely be using the same spell, but it looks different. It doesn't have the lines that run up and down it. These just look, to the layman's eye walking past this, they would just look like plain columns. They're windswept and battered, but not too poorly worse for wear. I don't think that they would look exactly the same to you, but with Merlin's help, you figure out it's the same kind of spell casting. Probably, it's unlikely this would have been like the same wizard or anything like that. With an 11, you just about pass the tiefling check.
Yes.
What you see looking over this is a depiction of these snakes, which are being kept back by a set of tiefling mages. And this reminds you of a story. That is a pretty classic tiefling tale that you will have picked up somewhere. Don't know where. You are also probably able to read the Infernal. What do you want first?
I'd see the pictures first, so we'll go with the story.
All right. Well, here you go. Erthax, a tiefling story. Please read it for the class.
I've seen these from a book once that I read. They say there's a tale of a group of tiefling elemental mages known as the Pyre, who once fought off a giant snake known as Erthax. The key to their victory was a synchronized spell utilizing 4 elements. Once defeated, the mages bound Erthax to their will. It said you could whisper to Erthax through a fire flame, etch your words to him on a frozen lake, call to him on a windy night, or strike out at the earth for his attention. So long as Erthax heard your call, he would bless you with elemental strength.
Bless us with elemental strength, you say?
I think we need all the help we can get.
I'm just hoping that that tale is accurate, because if I wanted to lure unsuspecting travelers to their doom, the promise of power is one quick way to do it.
I can't help but think you probably wouldn't find many down here who would know that story.
That's true. And again, well, there had to have been, what, 4 tieflings down here in the desert to do this in the first place. I wonder what drew them to this place.
Perhaps just the climate.
Yeah,
Or perhaps
lovely,
they too were lost.
lovely weather out here on the sand.
It is when you don't mind the heat so much. I like to read the text as well.
Yeah, underneath the opening, there is the symbol of the flame, then an opening that you might be able to place something into, very really similar looking to the other ones in design. And underneath it in Infernal, it says heat and cold on the fire column, running over to the one that's maybe got the water symbol on it. You can see it says adhesion and cohesion. On the one that has the air symbol, it says pushing and repulsion. And on the earth one, it says hardness and softness.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I didn't do anything.
I'll quickly upload
Can't
that
take
for
you
you.
guys
as well.
anywhere.
You're learning that now.
Yep, I will just let everyone know.
Okay then, so let's assume we want to speak to this giant snake and accept his blessing. What were the 4 steps again? Fix?
So heat and cold.
No, you said whisper through fire, hit the ground, say them
right.
again? What were the 4
Sure.
steps?
Whisper through a fire flame, etch your words on a frozen lake, call on a windy night, or strike at the earth.
Okay. So, if we perhaps freeze the water there and write in it, or scrape something on it, one person whisper through the fire. Yeah, I think we could do all 4 of these things simultaneously, so long as each one of us can handle one of those things.
Is it windy? By any chance, is it windy right now?
Roll me a d20.
Oh
Above a 10, it is windy.
Please.
Or there is at least a breeze.
Oh no!
No, not really any at all. A very, very
Okay.
light breeze, but not anything.
Got an inspiration point you want to use?
Do I? Can I? I re-roll and I alter the weather.
If that's what you want to use the inspiration point, you may.
No.
You're never going to use it.
No, it's
No, I'm
it's
never
not-
gonna.
It's not really windy at the moment, but I can perhaps make it somewhat so. Of these 4 different things, that's the one that I have the most control over. I could also make fire if needed, but I think Merlin's far better at it than I am.
Oh, that's my specialty.
The puzzling one then would be Earth. Do you have any talents in that department?
To strike the earth.
I can strike the earth. I'll just hold up my dagger.
What about your thunder wave thing with your sword?
Oh, see, that's what I was thinking for generating some wind. That thunder wave generates quite a bit of pushback and wind. So, and I'm gesturing to the thunder obelisk and saying, so pretty clearly I can handle this one, but the others, I don't know. We could cheat. actually. Fix, if you froze the
Cheat.
water... No, well, hear me out. If Fix froze the water, Fire could etch her words in it, and thereby Fire's doing the water one. Yeah? That would free up Fix to handle Earth. Or Fire. I'm sorry, I don't know how deep your bag of tricks goes. You're the wizard. You tell me. What do you think? Do you have a spell
no.
that could manipulate the Earth in some way?
I do like your way of thinking. However, I could try and do something with, the Earth Pillar.
Well, whatever we're
sure?
going to try and do, we need to do it all at the same time, yes?
Yes, I am also under the impression with this one, however, I can conjure a fire spell, no problem. I do not speak Infernal. I don't know if perhaps we are supposed to, I don't know, say something and... You
that is a good point.
Would anyone happen to know Infernal?
So slowly raise my hand.
Everyone stare at Fix.
It's the
I'm
the
staring at Vix.
tiefling native language, Infernal.
Well, there you have it.
What should I write in the... If I'm carving something in the ice, what... Is there something I should...
His name, perhaps?
I would, suggest just his name. It sounds like this whole thing is a ritual for getting his attention.
Mm-hmm. And how is it spelled, just so I don't...
Erthax.
Okay, thank you.
Don't need to write it in Infernal, do we? Perhaps.
I shouldn't
just
think
to
I
be-
think we do.
Okay.
To be on the safe side, all this other text is in Infernal. Perhaps you write it in your native tongue. Be safe.
Mhm. Just show me how it looks, and I'll just try to copy it. Are we sure this water can be frozen? Is it magical water, Merlin?
Oh, you can surely freeze water, no problem. And, Fix, she's got, that's one of her specialties. She would have no
And something I
trouble.
can handle. It does occur to me that if we are going to whisper his name through the wind, I believe his name is the same in any language.
I'm sure speaking the name out loud, it should be the same regardless. I was just thinking if you write it down.
Right, yes. I was just saying I don't need to whisper it.
Agreed. That means anybody
Okay.
could do the fire one.
Right.
Yeah, so, I guess this is how we go about it. I conjure a fire spell here on this pillar. Fix would then, freeze the lake. Fire would etch the words needed, and, you then would use, what was that again? To,
I'll take
get-
care
get
of the
some
air one.
wind going? Okay.
That I am confident I can handle. I got the air one. But what's the solution to
Alright.
the earth again? Are we just gonna have someone go over there and smack the ground?
I would imagine it would have to be something quite big to get his attention. As it says, strike out at the earth.
I could try firing a couple of blasts at it.
Well, that's worth a try.
So hang on, I will be freezing the water and I'll etch the name in Infernal.
That could work.
And then I can fire a couple blasts at the earth one.
What should I do? Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. How's that?
Fire an arrow at the earth one as well?
I
Okay.
think you should just teach Fire how to write Erthax in Infernal and have her write the words so that you can go deal with the Earth one at the same time. Remember, we
Yeah,
have to do
there's
all this.
too much on your plate.
We have to do all this at the same time. We can't have Fix in multiple
Exactly.
places
This
at
is
once.
something we have to divide amongst all of us.
Okay.
Is
Fire.
the name written in Infernal where I can see it?
Yeah, is it like an infernal language? Alphabet. There we go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can easily, etch it somewhere for Fire to
Yeah.
see.
Okay. I take out my notebook and sort of write it on a piece of paper, cursively, and hand it over. Maybe
Okay.
give it a go a couple times. I'll give you the pen.
Yeah.
Or the ink.
I'll copy it a few times and try and get it right.
Here you go,
Yeah,
just for the fun of it.
there's an accent
can
on the
write.
A. Don't forget that.
that.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go.
Okay. Perfect.
Dread to wonder what that actually spells in wingdings, but let's never find out.
I just
a
used
question.
Infernal Script Generator and got
Oh, there you
that.
go, yeah.
There
It
you
does look
go.
like Chicken Scratch Infernal a little bit. Yes.
I sort of guide
uh,
fire over and over and help her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Merlin had a question.
Yeah, sorry. Are we allowed to use any of our new spells from our level up?
Yes. You have
Re-
them.
Okay, well, I may have just picked up a lightning bolt for us. So I don't know if we want to use that to strike to earth, because I know that will definitely cause some noise.
Yeah, that'll strike the earth, all right.
Okay, alright.
I think we need you for fire, though. I think you're the only person.
I do. I wouldn't imagine a big flame, though, quite like Fireball, would have to... Well, not unless it...
I suppose Vita could do fire.
It might be that the spells
Vita
themselves
could.
don't.
Vita
It might be that
practically is fire.
So perhaps the spells themselves don't need to be simultaneous, but simply announcing or writing his name. Because even by the plan we were just going with, Fix was going to freeze the water in advance and then let fire write the name. So that would also mean you could light the fire in advance and just get ready to whisper the name into it
True.
all at once. I think the only ones that need to be done at the same time, or the only ones that need to happen and can't be done in advance, would be earth and air. Because when I generate the air, I need to yell the name, and when you strike the ground, you need to yell the name. But we could get the fire and the ice in advance and just be ready to whisper the name. I hope.
Okay.
I'm just
Worth a
theorizing here.
try.
Might as well. So,
Let us begin.
shall we?
You don't
Give
think
this a
this
go, then.
giant snake is gonna, like, erupt from the ground and try to swallow us
That-
whole or anything?
That's honestly exactly what I expect to happen, and I'll just be pleasantly surprised if he actually appears and grants us a gift like some sort of genie.
Okay. I'm just making sure that we all had that possibility.
Fix, how powerful were these pyre mages, out of curiosity?
DM, how powerful were these mages?
You only got an 11 on this. For you, it's just like a oak tail. So it's not like it's not even like a historically accurate thing that you don't, there's
Like a
no way.
Hans Christian Andersen sort of story that you read about when you're a child.
Yeah, it's like maybe it was probably based on like a true story, but like there's no way you know.
Okay. I would have no idea. It was a children's book I read once. Pictures.
Oh, well. Actually makes me feel slightly better, I suppose, that this is perhaps all just a children's fable. Alright. So, shall we give it a go?
Now let's begin.
Alright, well, I guess freeze and burn to your heart's content, and then when we're all ready, we can do the names all at once.
Okay.
Okay, who does what?
I walk over to the ice pool and cast Frostbite on it.
Okay,
And
I am standing at the air column, but waiting until fire is ready to start carving the name.
okay.
Merlin will kind of stick his hand into the little opening in the fire pillar and emit fire from his hand.
Okay.
And I will then walk over to the earth pillar and stand ready to fire an Eldritch Blast.
Should we do a countdown or?
Well, Fire, you just tell us when you're ready, because I think writing the name is going to take longer than any of these others, so
Okay.
on your mark.
I'm ready. I can do it pretty quickly.
Okay. Whenever you start writing, we go.
I'm going to start writing. Now.
Okay.
I will cast Thunderwave, and I believe my instructions were yell his name on a windy night, so I just yell Erthax and Thunderwave blast this column.
Yep. At the same time, what do you do, Fire?
As I'm writing his name or after I've written it?
What are you doing at the exact same time as he casts Thunderwave and shouts Erthax?
I probably would say the name Erthax at the same time as try to time it to when I finish the last letter.
Okay. And at the same time, what are you doing, Merlin?
I'm whispering Erthax to the flame.
And Fix?
Yeah, I'm blasting the ground, and I'll probably call Erthax as well. Just synchronicity.
Yeah. All of this happens at once. And you hear a booming voice at exactly the time as you all cast all of these things. Each of the columns, that droning noise picks up hugely, and you hear a voice shout,
"Show me that you are worthy of my strength."
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Will roll me a d4.
Oh no. Okay. Beep. How's a 4 grab you?
Okay. You get that one. Then who did I ask next? It was Fire. Roll me a d3. Now, I'm gonna guess you were probably stood about here. A 3, so that means you get this gift. 3. And then Merlin, were you next? Did I ask you next? Yeah, roll me a d2.
One.
1. You get this gift. And that leaves the final gift for Fix over there. Now, to save myself from any further confusion, I am going to just move these away, as while when you guys cast all these spells, you hear this voice shout to show it your strength, and the columns in front of you begin to drone very loudly. The columns themselves begin to shift and change a little bit. You see them kind of wobble, and they almost begin to bulge in a way. Things then appear, pushing out from the column, a kind of sand shape. For some of you, it looks different. For Will, small snakes begin to fall out from the column, landing in the water below. They kind of just look like sand stone made, but moving, and then they begin to shift and take more of a flesh-like form. The column in front of Fire and the column in front of Fix, an enormous snake head appears out of the side of the column. These great shifting sand snakes turn into huge constrictor snakes, and in front of you, Merlin, the form of Erthax himself, as the a skeletal snake forms, curled around the largest of all of the columns. A head curls over the top of it, and that is the bone naga of Erthax himself. So I will need initiatives from everyone, and I will produce for you your foes first. And then I will roll a lot of dice.
I just want to go on record and say that when Brad says, "Don't be scared," this is why we're scared.
Always be scared.
What are you afraid
Always.
of? This was where you walked up to these stone things. I didn't make you. You got lost.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
Let's see.
wasting all this preparation. We could never.
Yeah.
I came up with this 5 minutes before the show began. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Let's see here. So, first of all, Erthax himself is going to go on a 4.
Nice.
Yeah, he is.
Second of all, the constrictor snakes will both for the ease of my life and brain power will go on the same turn. And they go on a 4 as well. Mhm.
Wow.
And then the 4 smaller poisonous snakes that are rushing towards Will will go on a 5. Wow, what the fuck? There you go. See? It seems the gods are in your favor. And
Yeah, where it doesn't count.
is everybody on here? Yeah?
I think so.
Okay. So, reacting first, kind of appearing out of this column, just an enormous snake. For a moment, it again looks kind of like sand. There's sand running off of it. It takes more of a sandstone form and then becomes a kind of huge reptilian, scaly green giant constrictor snake. It has eyes on you. Each of the things that come out of the column that you're the closest to seem to be focused on whomever is closest to them at the time, for the record. But that doesn't mean they're hyper focused on you. It's just what's happening right now. What do you do first? Fire. Unfortunately for you, you are within melee range of this creature.
Yes. I would like to bring out my Irish blade and slice it.
Okay.
Did
An attack roll.
Ooh.
A 27. Yeah, this thing kind of forms in front of you. This booming voice from behind you as a skeletal snake appears on the central column, and you're immediately bringing.
Oh, I don't get
this
sneak attack though, do I?
blade. No.
Okay, so that, yeah,
So
just ignore that.
The 11 piercing and the 2 poison damage here as you strike out at this snake.
Yes, and then I would like to I would like to disengage and then go here
Okay.
and end my turn.
Okay. Brings us to Will. Lots of little snakes rushing across the ground, across the sands here towards you.
Yes. Yes, I see that. And I'm thinking, because I'm very good at fighting one big thing, and I'm very, very bad at fighting many small things, so I don't want to stay here. I'm going to... I guess I'll start moving towards everybody else, and I'll go right... I can't really see the... I think... Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing the grid on the background.
I shall darken it up for you. Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you actually do that? That would be phenomenal.
I don't know if that's the wrong way or the... Yeah, that was the wrong way. That made it
And
harder.
then I'm going to take advantage of my newfound ability to swing twice. And I will swing at this orange snake. 1, a 20 to hit.
20 to hit. I'm gonna go ahead and guess you kill it immediately. Yes, you probably just bring this sword down and lop the head off of this snake. It rolls over to one side, its head falling off. Before its head has even rolled twice, it kind of turns to sand and falls, just kind of disappears in front of your eyes.
Oh, okay. They are not that strong. In that case, I'm just going to keep moving towards Merlin to get between him and the huge thing trying to eat his face. So I will move here and end my turn.
Okay, Vita.
Vita will fly around this boy and take the help action. Yep, that's that.
And then you.
And then I will move 30 foot towards Merlin. And fire 2 Eldritch. Hex this constrictor snake with a flick of my hand, and then 2 Eldritch blasts. He's being hexed for strength.
Okay. Hex.
And yep. And then a 26 and a 17
26 and a 17 are both hits.
with 7 necrotic damage.
In total?
So that's 14, 24 damage.
24?
Yep.
How do you kill it?
Oh, hell yeah. The blast goes in through its mouth and sort of ripples down its body and spirals all the way in before it kind of like explodes into sand.
Yeah, just explodes into sand, kind of landing in the water around this column, and the first constrictor snake is dead. And then you rush towards Merlin here as well?
Yep.
All right. Now it is all these little poisonous snakes. What can they move? They can move pretty quick. Yeah. One gonna rush over, just kind of chasing you, I think. Will. I wonder if they can all get to you, actually. Nope. 2 can get to you. 1 will wriggle through your legs, but it's gonna not be able to attack you there. And sorry, viewers. There you go. They chased him from over there. And then 2 of these things are gonna try and bite you.
The revenge of the little buggers.
Oh, yes. But, oh, wow, look at that. 2 24s.
Okay, question.
Hmm.
The ring of poison resistance that I'm wearing, is that for the poison condition or damage or both?
I would imagine the damage type. Ring of poison, that's a standard thing, so I can look it up. It will be whatever the poison damage.
Okay.
Only.
I don't want to get poisoned. I will reaction and use shield to boost my AC to 25.
Yep. You these things kind of wriggle across the sand. They leap up towards you, bearing their fangs, and then they ding ding hit this arcane shield that you bring up. They hit the ground, wriggling, curling, and then right themselves as if to come in to go for you again. But that is the end of their turns. It is Merlin's turn.
Oh boy, I am within Erthax's attack range.
Correct.
Can I attempt to use a bonus action first? I want to attempt to push him away.
You can do it, yes.
Okay, I push Erthax off his pillar.
All right,
Well,
let's see.
try to.
And is that
Oh,
a
please.
strength saving throw versus your...
Oh, is he perched on top of that pillar?
He's kind of
Yes.
curled around it, yeah,
Uh-huh.
as he's like forming around the thing. Let's do a... Wow, there you go. A 20. I don't think that you...
No, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's kind of on this thing. You telekinetically begin to push at him, but you feel the weight of this creature, as well as the fact that he's kind of curled around this column and is beginning to slide and move around it. Kind of just really, really tough to move this big... so he's just a set of bones, a set of snake's bones magically moving. That's your bonus action.
Yep. Oh boy. I can't cast anything because we're too close. We're too close to each other. I guess I will just pre-shield in advance.
You
'Cause
can't,
I
it's a
know-
reaction.
Oh darn it! That's right. Yeah.
It does mean that as long as you don't use your reaction when you get hit, you can cast the spell, so it won't
Gotcha.
consume your action to do so. Reaction is just another thing. that
You
have.
can still use most of your spells to speed, just like Scorching Ray and Fire. But the ones where you have to roll a dice and see if they hit,
Oh.
those you want to avoid, but everything else you can still use.
Okay.
Just avoid anything that you have to roll a dice to see if it hits.
Gotcha. Okay. Most of my spells do that.
Lightning bolt, doesn't it?
Oh shit! It does.
I like to imagine Will whispers that.
Will actually whispering to Merlin,
You have lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, we're going with lightning bolt.
Okay. A lightning bolt. What does this look like as you cast this for the first time towards this enormous bone naga on this
Merlin
column?
has just got his tiny arms up, and then just a bunch of like stormy clouds just start to come around him, and the clouds then begin to roar, and just in a flash, just like that, a line of just thunder, in like a flash, just blasts Erthax.
Okay, so that is a dex save. Either way, you need to roll me 8d6. And Erthax will make a dexterity saving throw. 13, I think, is under your... That is a terrible roll. All those ones. And a 2. First time evocating this lightning bolt. This enormous line, by the way, this goes 100 foot in front of you. It's like a Kamehameha kind of. It just goes. It hits this column. It hits Erthax. Erthax doesn't move, just takes the entire brunt of it. You see this wave of electricity run up the column itself, and he takes 22 damage from that one. Let's see here. I'm going to roll a dice. Erthax says... Yes. And... Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, but I'm concerned. Did he like that?
Maybe. A constrictor snake is rushing after you, Fire. This large snake just begins to rumble across the sands here, rushing at you. It is going to attempt to... I guess it'll try and get you, actually. It's going to try and move around you, this thing rumbling around your body. It's going to attempt to constrict you. On a 10, I think it has to. Yeah, it hits you on a. Yeah. It moves around you, but you kind of dance out of the way of it. You can see that it's trying to maneuver itself into a position that it can trap you, but you're able to dance, push yourself, and move out of the way from this creature being able to do such a thing. Bringing us to Erthax's turn himself. You know what I think he should do here at this point? Erthax's tail is curled around this column all the way down to the bottom here. You see it move out. It's a pointed, tapered tail that you can see that it doesn't even look as if it's like a spine would have joints. They don't even look like they're fully attached. It's just being held entirely together. Merlin, you feel the top of this tail come down and touch the top of your wizard's hat as he bestows a curse upon you. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, that is
a natural 1. Let's see what you will be cursed with.
No.
You have been cursed by Erthax here, and I think you, while cursed, you must make a wisdom saving throw at the start of each of your turns. If you fail to beat what I think is 12, if you fail to beat a 12, you essentially your turn ends. You miss a turn.
Wowie. Oh, that's rough. Okay.
Fire's turn.
Oof. Ow, 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 ow. I'm just gonna smack this constrictor, or attempt to, with my iris blade.
Okay.
Whoop!
16 to hit. And you deal, how do you kill it?
Ooh, I just slice it. I just spin in the way that my blade comes down, kind of slices it long ways down the belly, and I like to imagine it just kind of falls open. All the insides just fall out.
Yeah, and then as they do, it just turns to sand and melts around you and in front of you.
And then, I will move over near close to Fix, like right there.
Okay.
And that's it.
Will's turn.
Paladin senses tingling. Really want to smite the big thing, but I'm still surrounded by these little guys, so I'm gonna hit them instead. I will just take a swing at the blue snake.
Okay.
On a... did I roll that right? On a 15.
15 is a hit.
For 7 slashing damage.
Yep, cut this one's head off. Again, this little snake is kind of recovering from hitting your arcane shield there, and it turns, it begins to kind of coil itself as if to strike, and then its head is missing and it turns to sand.
Okay, swing number 2 on the red one. Boom, boom. On a 16 and 6 slashing damage.
Okay.
6, is that enough to kill one of these little things?
Yes, it is. Same thing. Chop it in half, turns to sand.
Chop, chop, chop. Blender mode engaged. I will step closer so that I can point up at this big thing and say you're next and hit it with that. Mark the target and end my turn.
All right, Vita's turn.
Vita will fly over. How far can you get? Just to the edge of this pool here. And I don't think they can do anything else. No, they can't do anything else, so that will end their turn.
Okay.
As Merlin fires this lightning spell, I'm kind of sprinting towards Merlin, and I just say, I'm not risking this again. And I run over and I pick him up, and I will cast Thunderstep.
Oh.
Which is, there you go. So any creature within 10 foot needs to make a Constitution saving throw, except for Merlin. And I will teleport Merlin away, and myself, away from the snake, and we're going to go back here somewhere.
All right.
God,
Con
thank
save
you.
20.
Right, so he takes half as much damage, and he'll take 3d10 thunder damage.
All right, roll me that
So you'll take
3d10.
11 thunder damage.
What do we all see when you do this?
So earlier when I was sort of practicing this, you saw this mist rise up. So as this mist rise up, it kind of creates this almost like a sonic boom type thing with the heat in the area, and this sort of cloud spreads out from between us, and there's this horrific thunder sound in your ears that rings, and the ground around shakes, and we just disappear in a mist of smoke.
All right. Where do you end up?
And we're gonna go 50 foot. So we're gonna go back to behind the other pillar over here. So I'll put myself there, and Merlin will be next to me.
All right. Place yourself over there, Merlin. And is that the end of your turn?
And then on bonus action, I'm gonna hex the big guy for strength.
Okay. Strength hexed.
Yep.
And yeah, you just run in and then vanish. The column wobbles with the thunderous step, and you see Erthax kind of rocked on this thing, but doesn't like fall off of it or die or anything, but he is certainly affected by it. The poisonous snake, however, will certainly try and bite Will on a 20. Versus your AC, Will. You're muted. again.
Sorry, I'm very bad at this today.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that'll hit, and I'm not wasting any more spell slots shielding these little guys.
All right, you take 1 piercing damage, 5 poison damage, and need to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 13 on the con save.
You make the con save. So let's see. So you only take 3 poison damage from that.
Okay. Does it 3 total or 3 poison, 1 piercing? Like, does
3
it round
poison, 1 piercing.
up or down? Okay.
It is then Merlin's turn. You need to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Yep. All right. I'm on it. Here we go.
That'll be a 12. You do it. Yep.
18.
Do your
Yes.
turn as you so wish.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fireball this son of a gun. Boom.
Dex save from him. Massive fireball hitting him. I'm guessing you aim it in a way that it doesn't ignite fire. And
No.
19 on his dex save.
He did it. He made it.
Well, he
He
still
still
takes
takes half.
half
of
of
it, right?
27, which is rounded up, so it's
14.
would be 14. Thank you so much. I can do basic math. Yeah, this fireball hits Erthax, and you see him struck by the fire, and he says,
Yes.
"Is that the end of your turn?"
Yeah. That is my turn.
Okay. The constrictor snakes are dead. It is Erthax's turn. Erthax coils downwards after being hit by this, hits the water and slides around away from where this column is. I guess he will go, let's see here. What can you move? Where can you go? You can go over here. Slides up, backs up against this plateau, which is over here. Now then, you will all recognize this spell because Merlin cast it earlier on. As
This is
lightning
about to hurt.
begins to coalesce at the center of this
No.
set of bones and
Hell yeah.
teeth. And Erthax is going to cast Lightning Bolt. This is 100 feet long, so it's going to hit Will, Fix, and Merlin for fun. Give me a dexterity saving throw. Each of you, please.
Thank goodness.
Make
No.
fail. Okay, so Fix and Will only take half of this damage. Merlin, you will have to take the full brunt of 31 lightning damage as this thing, just a torrent of electricity is unleashed. It rips up the sand in front of you. A line of lightning strikes Will. Will kind of gets down behind his shield. A lot of the arcane energy kind of still runs over his body. He's clearly hit by it. Fix maybe dodges out of the way in a way that allows them to take only a little bit of the damage or half of it. But Merlin is just smacked with the center of the line of this, and you take all that damage. You're still up though, right, Merlin? You leveled
Yep,
up.
I am, but probably looking like barbecue.
I will Hellish Rebuke.
Oh, yeah, give me that. What do I have to do for that? I forget.
That is, I never add this to my thing because I'm dumb. Dex save.
A dexterity saving throw coming up. 19.
Still takes half, I think.
Okay. Give me the damage.
Yep. So 17 fire damage halved. So 9. No.
No.
Someone do maths for me.
13?
8.
14?
Sorry, what were you doing? Half
Wait,
of
did you-
17?
Half of 17.
Half of
It would
17.
be 8. It would be
8.
7. You round it down, so it'd be 8.
Okay. this lightning strikes everything in its path, kicking up dirt and sand, and then the bones of this enormous snake, which is coiling up, kind of moving as if he's going to climb this plateau behind you, suddenly ignites, flame running across the bones of the creature. But
no, wait, tell a lie. He's 70 foot away. I can only do 60. Sorry.
all right,
Aww.
nothing happens to him. And that is the end of his turn anyway, and it is Fire's turn.
Seeing Merlin get hit that hard, and realizing that it seemed to happen in a straight line, I'm going to yell at Fix. Take care of him.
I will.
And just shake my head, kind of like, fuck. Am I doing the right thing here? And then I will go here so I can step around the pillar and sharpshooter shot because I'm mad.
Okay.
Ooh.
Natural 23 there. Natural 20. Give me the... Well, I guess that is the damage.
She mad.
Did you do a 16 and a 1? That's horrific.
Listen.
Crit damage. Wait,
Listen,
hang on.
leave me
Crit
alone.
is only another 1d6. How is this doing so much? Oh, right, because it's the fucking sharpshooter. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do 17 damage. You get angry. You shout at Fix, and then you push yourself into a position. How do you kill the Erthax?
Ooh. I directly into the center of his face.
Yeah, the arrow flies. You see it strike the bone of this enormous snake skull, but normally you would expect it to kind of just bounce off or scratch along it. You see it actually embed into the snake. The skull itself turns from bone to sand, as from the skull down the spine, this bone naga is reduced once again to sand. But as the sand hits the ground this time, it doesn't disappear. It begins to slowly move across the ground back towards that central column. And it is Will's turn. There's still one of these little snakes.
Erthax is down for the count.
Looks
right?
like it.
Or, okay. Looks like it. I hate that answer so much. Can I study it for us? The way he just kept going, yes, like he was enjoying this. I don't think we actually killed him. Can I look at Erthax and see if it's still moving or trying to get
Arcana check with disadvantage.
Okay.
I don't think you're particularly knowledgeable in this area.
A 10.
I don't think you know really whether he's like reforming or whether this is just what happens when you defeat Erthax on a 10. I'm afraid.
Okay. In that case, I will chop at the last snake next to me to get rid of it. 25 to hit with 10 slashing.
Yeah, you chop this snake's head off and you end the combat as you defeat the final of the final one of these little snakes. You see the snakes split in half from Will, the little snake turning to sand, the rest of this sand moving across from where Erthax was back to the column itself. Each of you recognize once again that kind of droning sound get louder and louder and louder as each of these pillars, these columns, begin to kind of vibrate again, with the last of the sand rushing towards this column. It moves up the column, and in the center where the flame is, the symbol on that obsidian disc ignites into flame, and you hear the voice of Erthax once again as it booms centrally from this column and says,
You fought well, earned your blessing. I am Erthax. Speak now. Choose an element to pair with the blessing. till the end of your days.
Well, what flavor do you want to choose?
Earth. For me.
Fix chooses Earth.
I'll just look at Merlin.
Fire. You're going with fire.
You're going with fire, or I'm going with fire?
You're going with fire.
Okay. Okay.
We go everywhere with fire.
No, I think fire. Fire?
So I had to get you back for it, alright? You did that to me at some point.
I'll go with water.
I guess I'll just kind of look resigned towards the air pillar and say, seems fitting.
Okay, let me roll a dice. Erthax says,
Earth for the tiefling, fire for the elf, water for the undead, air for the child.
the top of the column spits out sand. It explodes across you and begins to rain down over each of you. Fix, you get plus 15 HP permanent. Up your max HP.
Okay.
You are now the tank. I'm getting out of the way.
Fire, you get plus 1 strength permanent.
Ooh.
And Merlin, you get plus 1 constitution permanent. And Will, you get plus 1 dex permanent boon. And that is where we're going to go to a break here. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We're going to go to a short break, and when we return, we will see where the party go next. Thanks for watching.
Yay!
Here's a teaser for an upcoming show in January. Ooh.
Ooh.
3 weeks. 3 weeks in this trench, exchanging sporadic shots with these blasted Xenos we can't see. We know they're there, though. Stick your head up for a second, you'll come back down with more holes than you started with. At least we're in good company, though. More rats than ammo, and when it comes to the shove, well, anything will suffice when supplies are low. Lieutenant says we're being pulled out for a special mission. Different city, different world, same story. Thanks, LT. But I wouldn't mind staying here. I might not get along with the rats somewhere else.
Welcome back to part 2 of episode 33, I think, of Mistlight. And yeah, you four, you receive this blessing. Interpret it however you wish, but this set of sand rains down over you. You hear that droning sound quieten and then stop. I think all of you get the idea that these columns fall inert around you, the charge to that kind of arcane energy dissipates. And while you're probably, Merlin, your understanding of this rather than the actual spell itself, it isn't like these columns fall inert truly. They just fall inert to you. They're technically still magic and things like that. But you find yourselves kind of in this hilly area. You know which way you were headed, which way is northeast, and you can continue your day of travel if you'd like, unless you want to rest again or anything like that. It's entirely up to you. We probably did, actually. Let me see what time it would be. Probably be getting on a bit. We'll say it's around midnight, maybe, that you encountered this thing. You've done your full day of travel through the wasteland here, but it took you longer than you were hoping to reach those Twin Rocks, since you went off course a little bit. So by now you should be at the Twin Rocks, but you're not, though you do know the way. It's up to you if you want to choose this area to rest in for the evening, or if you want to continue going.
I'd say we rest here.
I wouldn't mind resting here either.
Okay. Long rest?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Let's see here. So, I need D20 from Will. And a Constitution saving throw from Will.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
And
There we go.
a
Wow.
Wisdom saving throw from Will.
Oh, God.
No,
Uh-oh.
you need con save, wisdom save, and D20.
A con save, a Wisdom save, and a D20, yes.
Okay, so the flat D20 roll, there's a 12 for you. The con save is a nat 20, totaling out to 26.
Lovely.
Indestructible. And then wisdom save, not quite as indestructible.
Not as good. All right. So, this is awkward. Yeah, I think the night falls here. The true night, obviously it's been dark, but true midnight night falls. You guys maybe find an area near here. It's a decent area with the arcane energy kind of probably driving away any creatures. It's probably a pretty decent place to rest. And you maybe set up a little area, set up a small camp, and each of you begins your rest. Those of you that need to actually sleep can sleep. Those of you that need to trance. Maybe somebody prepares a small meal, or you eat some bits and pieces. Merlin, you can roll me a herbalism kit, because you found the mushrooms, the appropriate mushrooms on your forage check. 21, so you will
21.
end up making another one of those potions of greater healing. So you have 2, I think, now, if you didn't have any before.
Yeah, I got 2.
With those mushrooms, and the evening of rest begins. However, Will, you are plagued by some strange thoughts or dreams, maybe, if you're actually sleeping. This is not an active effect of the mist trying to mess with you or anything like that. You now will intermittently need to make me con saves and wisdom saves, because your brain is split multiple ways. And
Oh boy.
your memories are confusing as you continue to struggle here with the thoughts, feelings, memories of previous lives. You will notice certain effects. Nothing crazy, but you this evening have a night of just awful dreams, perhaps, if it's sleep. Maybe a light sense of maybe like anxiety in the darkness. You know, when you're kind of, sometimes you'll be home alone and you'll catch like a strange shadow at the edge of your vision, and it's like a thing that draws your attention to it, and there's nothing there. There isn't even like a firelight that's causing a flicker. It's just a thing that happens for you. I think you have an uncomfortable evening, having been so disconnected from your previous selves while you were exploring that mine earlier in the day today. I think that begins to wear off a little bit, the effects of that previous check that you made, and you start to notice just a lot of thoughts and feelings that just feel like they're not yours. Like 1 minute you're just feeling yourself, you're feeling fine and normal, you're thinking about the events of today, and then the next minute you're thinking about the last time you were here 500 years ago with Korshaldi wandering through this exact same patch of land maybe. And the thoughts and feelings that you had then, a more positive sense of understanding and this connection to a very religious part of yourself that you, I don't think, have as well. That kind of sense of hope and the understanding that you're on a righteous path, and that probably nothing can really stop you, as this is kind of fated to a degree, and that you are in the service of something greater than you. And then you snap back to yourself, I think, and it is just an uncomfortable evening. Luckily, you don't suffer any physical effects from this. But if you fail both of those, if you fail both of those saves, and you roll low enough on that d20, it's possible that you can have such an uncomfortable day or night or rest, etc., that it will cause you to have maybe a point of exhaustion or something like that. As it goes, you don't suffer anything like that. I think you get the sleep. It's just uncomfortable. And you're starting to feel this maybe mental tear, because you literally have 4 people's full lives worth of memories that are coming through to you in, it's like a radio frequency turning off and on at times. However, by the time the next day rolls around, or you guys have finished your rest, I should say, it would be something like 8 a.m. In the morning, as each of you have had your rests and have spent the evening maybe just conversing or eating food, relaxing, making sure that you're not doing anything too strenuous. Maybe those of you that are on watch through the evening or don't need sleep will notice Will shifting a little uncomfortably, but I don't know if it would be anything too overt. Other than that, you each get the effects of a full, long rest. This is one of the weirdly safest places in this entire desert. There is no encounter rolls. So you can have your full HP, your full complement of spells, and you can take back half of your hit die rounded up. That's the one that you round up if you have used them. And 8 a.m.-ish. No daylight yet, but your day begins. Does anybody want to do anything? Anybody got anything you want to do before you set off for your day and continue on your journey? And by the way, I assume you're all heading to Kira. Is that the plan? I know that you had kind of ideas. The plan was to go to Kira and then decide whether you wanted to trek through the forest to Gofreda or follow the road. Is that right?
I think our plan was to at least try to find the road up to Kira, and then from there potentially shoot straight to Gofreda. I just don't know how. Are we on the? Did we find the road yet, or are we still on?
No, you are within this circle here.
Yeah.
You're somewhere in there, and you're on target for the road, but you will also have to make one last set of checks. You're about half a day's travel away. In theory, you should find those twin rocks and the road today, depending on, everything.
I think we don't necessarily need to go to Kira. We just need to find the road, get back on track, and then we could head straight to Gofreda, would be my thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, if nobody's doing anything in particular or anything specific, then you can pack up your things, maybe eat a little breakfast or something, some something. Merlin may be feeling a little peckish. Do you have any brains for Merlin?
Yeah, no, I think I've eaten all the brains.
Yeah, what I was the specific thing I wanted to do is to check in on Merlin and see How are you feeling? Do you need brains? If so, I will desperately try to find some.
Please, that would be wonderful. It's been some time since I had my last brain.
Is Merlin looking okay? Is there any noticeable
Well,
deterioration?
yes. That lightning bolt really did a number on Merlin. He's maybe looking like he got a bit of a tan.
Yeah, I don't think there's bits falling off of him,
Yeah.
even though we
No.
have witnessed it. He is able to kind of magically heal somewhat, so it's not like he sustains damage and it's permanent.
Yeah.
But I mean, compared to the rest of you, he probably looks awful. You know, like sallow
Oh,
skin
awful.
and sunken
Yeah.
eyes, and he's probably getting noticeably thinner as the days go on. But yeah, nothing like his arms. It doesn't just fall off or anything
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I'm gonna try to not react as much as I can. I'm gonna try and hold it together.
If
and
you want to
just,
find him food, that is going to be a forage check during the day for food instead of mushrooms.
Yep. I will
Yes,
do
I'm going to
that.
do the same too.
For food instead, for particularly your brains. Yeah, okay. You're going to hunt, essentially. All right, so let's do your travel checks then, since that sounds like where we're at. Give me... no, wait. You two are foraging. What about the other three? What's your plans here? You're still not on the road, and while you do have a sense of direction, you can still get lost off of the... because you're off-road.
Vito will be scouting for danger, and I'll be looking for the path.
Okay. And then Will?
I will continue to assist with navigation.
That is survival checks from everybody except for Vita, who will give me a perception check.
Woohoo!
I find so many brains.
All set of...
I'm sorry, did you say perception or survival? I mean, it
Survival
doesn't
for you.
matter, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the same number for me regardless. Which is bad.
Well, everyone passed anyway on the other checks. So, yeah, you set out the same kind of flat wasteland, almost like these salt flats ahead of you as you just begin to trek outwards. However, Fire, you find something extremely whatever you're looking for without it being too crazy. What do you hunt during this day, because you catch it?
What would be out here? Maybe
Some skinny looking fox probably, or some sort of weird
Yeah.
desert
like
coyote.
an antelope-y, a very thin antelope-ish type creature.
Completely lost. Yeah, at some point you come back with a thin looking antelope creature. And while it would not be a very impressive catch in a bountiful forest, out here it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't kill it immediately either. I think I lure it to me, and if it's weak enough, I probably this is dark, but put it in a headlock or something like that, and then I won't kill it until I'm right next to Merlin, so he can get as fresh a brain as possible.
Yeah, and then there's a terrifying moment where Merlin just devours its brains live.
Yeah,
Merlin will probably just leap at it and just
yeah. There you go.
It's horrific, and then the scene cuts away quickly to you lot continuing to walk forward with Merlin just blood in his beard around his mouth. But you also do have legitimate meat that you can strip and cook on a break at some point later on in the day. With the aid of Will Fix, you're able to pretty clearly understand the direction in which you're moving, and I think let me see here, so that would be it would only be about 2 hours or so before the landscape begins to lighten up as the sun rises around 10 a.m. Pretty early again, probably before 10 a.m. and you get a really clear understanding of your surroundings, and you are dead on target for this area known as Twin Rocks, these two huge mesas that just sit up directly upright, enormous things, kind of impossible to miss, like a tuning fork sticking up out of the ground in the distance, and you have a very obvious direction to head towards, and you do so for about 4 hours or so here after your morning. You are able to progress with relative ease. Vita, now with the aid of the sunlight as well, even though he's kind of using blind sight, I guess, is scouting constantly, whizzing back and forth, floating around, flying past, checking everywhere ahead of you. But aside from a few random creatures, little things, lizards, and one antelope, it's pretty easy going. It's very barren out here, unless you wander into a nest of fire ants or stumble upon an ancient set of enchanted stones. There's really very little to see. And you make it eventually to these huge mesas, this area known as Twin Rocks. And you can see that while there's nothing and nobody here, these enormous mesas are clearly used often by people to stay at, to camp at, to set up small camps. There are lots of different little old-looking campfires that have been used and discarded in the area underneath where these mesas are. You can choose to rest here if you want, but you are about halfway through your normal day's travel. It's up to you if you want to keep going. It's going to be very easy for you to find the path. You don't need to do another set of checks.
We keep going.
Just full march?
Yeah.
You do the
Press
full
Y.
hex, and slowly but surely, moving out from this wasteland, the ground underfoot begins to soften up, and you start to see more vegetation. In the distance, you start to see hills, and then eventually trees. Knowing that change is pretty much what the path runs along, because you guys walked with the path before, having this road, in quotes really, this dirt road that the merchants travel on, is pretty much just the thing that splits the wasteland from the open expanse of the green plains lands. And I think it probably takes you about another 2 or 3 hours before you finally find that road again, and that will be your full day's travel for this one. You then presumably take a rest finally. Maybe you set up a fire this time and cook up some of that antelope, cutting off strips, cook it up. Likely at some point, I'm guessing, salt and dry some of it, eat a bunch of it now, maybe cook up a stew. And while you guys are resting at the end of this day, well, this will be about the middle of the day, you're probably looking about 4. It's daytime, which is nice as well. You need to figure out where you want to go next, and you are thinking of cutting straight through here. But is that actually what you're going to do?
Yeah. I'm doing the math to see how many days we would actually save. Each hex is half a day, right?
Yep.
1, 2.
You can kind of just
four.
you can turn snapping off on the ruler on the left there, which makes it a little easier.
Uh-huh.
You're looking at 3 days from here to Gofreda. It's rough terrain compared to the path. You're a lot more likely to become lost, so you can assume that, you know, things might go a little wrong. Heading down to Nim, over to Gore's Point, is a day and a half, 2 days, 3 and a half, 4.5 days. Go up to Kira, is a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Kind of looking at 4 days on the road either way by the looks of it.
Yeah, so if we cut straight to Gofreda, it's 3 days. If we go around, it's 4. So we really only save 1 day by taking this shortcut.
Correct.
Assuming
And
we don't get
that's-
lost.
And that's assuming, right, we don't get lost or turned around or ambushed or whatever, which could easily nullify that 1 day.
Yeah.
Your reasoning is to try and stay ahead of Arias arriving at Gore's Point, I think. Just so you know, he is set, according to his words, to arrive at Gore's Point in 1 day. And he said he would wait
Right.
a few days, so...
Right, I think we'd already established we're not going to get there in time to meet him right away. We're just trying to reduce... It's damage control, right? We're trying to get there
Yeah.
sooner rather than later. So I'm just trying to figure if that 1 day is worth it, which Will would probably turn and voice to the whole party.
I imagine you're
Is-
doing some form of this with a map laid
Yeah,
out in
yeah.
front of you anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, you think it's worth shaving potentially one day off of our travel time and risk running straight over?
Or we get lost in the woods and it ends up taking longer.
Oh, well, we just won't get lost then, right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, we did manage to get turned around in a
Easy.
flat desert not long ago.
Yeah, we got turned around in the desert. We've gotten turned around in the mist. Navigation has not really been our strong suit, so I'm not sure I'm really confident in that.
But we've always somehow made it through, haven't we?
And that's
Yes.
what's important.
You survived.
I have no doubt that we will get to Gerfreda. I'm just not entirely sure we would actually save a day if we manage to get ourselves turned around again.
Have any of us ever taken this journey? Have any of us been in this area?
I have been to Gerfreda 2 or 3 times now, actually, but always taking the northern road, the long way around. Straight across here? No, never. But at least if we go north and take the road north from Kira, it's a familiar trail to me.
Yeah. I would kind of be interested in taking the lower road. Funny enough.
Through Nim.
Shocking, I know.
I had thought of that as well. My only concern then is that we would pass through Gore's Point,
Yeah.
Little bit.
potentially run into Arias. Then we would have to double back to Gore's Point, and that's all well and good unless us meeting Arias ends up turning into a bloodbath, and then I never get to visit Gerfreda, which is my real concern there.
Okay. Well, we can go... I mean, are we agreeing that we don't want to cut through the woods then?
I'm saying I'm conflicted. That's why I'm asking, opinions, advice on it, because saving a day would be nice. I'm just concerned that, we may not end up saving a day if we get turned around. So perhaps we need...
It's a day it doesn't look like we need to save, so there's not one risk of getting lost. As much as I'm confident we'll make it through eventually, eventually. I wouldn't
you
mind
think we
taking the
should go
southern
around?
path. Though it seems a
Yeah,
bit
but
close
if-
to home for you, right, Fire?
Little bit. But if Will needs to go to Gerfreda...
Well, there's nothing wrong with the southern path. It's just that when we get to Gore's Point, we don't know what's going to happen, but I will not go out to that lighthouse until after I visited Gerfreda.
Yeah.
So things could get awkward if we get to Gore's Point and Arias wants to set sail, or if I run into any of those Leon Viperum fellows there, then it's going to end in blood. And I would really like to tie up loose ends before it comes down to that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I don't want to go south. I'm basically just trying to avoid them until after this. Otherwise, I would agree with you. Going through Nim is probably the smart way to do it.
Well, does anyone have any objection with going north?
Nope. No objections here.
No, we'll just be retracing our steps, but it's familiar.
Yeah, it's backtracking, and that's not the greatest feeling, but we could also double time it. It's a path that I've taken multiple times, Maybe we could pick up the pace, perhaps, and make up the difference in time. I guess we'll
Yep.
see.
Maybe we can hitch a ride on a cart.
North, then?
North.
Mm-hmm.
How much it would cost us to borrow horses in Kira. Maybe we ride to Gerfreda instead. Could save quite a bit of time if we have the money.
I've never ridden a horse before.
Neither have I.
Well, we would only need 2 horses. There's only 4 of us.
Kind of side-eye Fire.
I don't know what that look means. I'm going to assume that's displeased.
I'm not.
We can talk about it when we get to Kira, I suppose.
Yeah.
For all we know, there won't be any horses available to borrow. Then it won't matter.
Mhm.
So I think we head north.
Okay. So, you will probably need to take a small rest here to avoid exhaustion. So you do a little relaxation maybe, and then you head north. Much easier going, and you don't need to do any travel checks, but you do need to roll me a D6. Let's say Will, since you're in charge, making everyone go north. Ouch.
Ooh.
What have I done?
Let's find out.
What have you done?
Oh no, what have you done?
A
Let's-
random encounter?
Have not Will, because he sucks at rolling D6s. Let's have Fix hasn't done it. Roll me a D6.
Yes, put the blame on someone else for whatever we're about to run into.
4.
4.
The number of ogres you must fight is now 4.
And then
Yay.
Fire, roll me 2D6. A 4. All right, nice and simple. So, the day ahead of you is a simple one. Follow the road, head up across the plains, the fields that head towards Kira. You've done this trip before. You recognize the landscape and understand what is ahead of you pretty well, I think. But even though you're on a road and you're coming up close to a pretty militant town, it doesn't mean that the road is without its dangers. So, everyone roll me a d20. Let's see who's the one. 3 is the lowest number there. You guys are walking along. You're being cautious, but maybe you've been walking for a couple days now, and it is probably starting to wear on you a little bit. You're maybe just not paying as much attention as you normally would. You're kind of shuffling your feet. Kira is only a few hours away. It's daylight out, and you guys are traveling around. I think have Vita roll me a perception check here.
Okay. 4.
Yeah, even Vita isn't going to save you here. Fix, you take a step forward on what you assume to be this kind of dirt path, this road, when the leaves underfoot give way and you just fall. Roll me a d6.
5.
You take 5 bludgeoning damage, which is pretty rough, as you fall into a hole. And it is at that point that I think you realize that this is a pit trap, and you hear from either side of the road here as you've wandered into a trap. You hear the in Orcish. Who speaks Orcish? Anyone?
No.
No? Good. Well, you hear orcs shout.
Oh no.
A bunch of leaves fall off of these large figures. You see either side of the road 4 orcs step up from behind bushes, from hidden and concealed places, wearing these kind of tribal outfits that almost act like ghillie suits. You also see a couple of people who are not orcish. You see a human and what might be a half elf stand up with a bow on one side of you, and on the other side you see a half orc with a bow stand up, very tribal looking as well. And the largest of the orcs ahead of you on the road steps out from behind a rock, pulls an axe out, and you are each now in this encounter on the roads. And Fix, you are prone here in this pit, which I guess really I'll just make, it doesn't matter, but for my own clarity, you are there. You can easily climb out of this thing. It is probably barely even 5-6 feet deep, but you landed awkwardly. You are prone. You probably twisted an ankle here, which means you are on the ground. I'm going to say that's what you look like. I dragged you randomly onto the sheet there, but let's go with that is how it looks. And everybody needs to roll me some initiative as you are hit by an ambush. There is an orc war chief. There are orcs and there are tribal warriors here.
There are the good rolls.
Is it funny now that every time I see Merlin get a high initiative roll, I'm just like, well,
Yep.
those
we won.
poor guys standing in a group over there.
Oh, bye. Bye.
Yeah, let me roll my dice. I also do not seem to have any of the things. Oh, that's why. Because we've had orcs before. God damn it. Sometimes I try and be very well prepared in that I have like a monster folder with all of my things that have been used before so I can quickly access them again, but actually I end up just forgetting that I have the monster folder and can't find how to get access to my own stuff. Did I roll for him? Nope. And then the tribal warriors will act. And I constantly have multiple sheets open. So what do we get for these guys? The orcs will go on initiative 5. The warriors will go on 5 as well. And the war chief will go on 4. Damn, I've only rolled 4s and 5s all day for initiative. And that is how that looks. So the first person to react is indeed Merlin. What do you want to do, Merlin?
Oh, I'm gonna fireball the absolute heck out of those 3 right over there behind the log.
Okay. Give me the fireball attack. I'm just giving them
33.
noticeable colors.
You're like,
probably all
yeah,
dead.
bye.
They are probably all dead.
Fight starts. Merlin.
It's like I like to think it's like a
mad.
reactionary thing, like you sneeze or something, like you get scared and you just fireball.
Yeah, Fix disappears and then a fireball goes off.
You made me eat.
So Dex saves for the orcs here on what do they have to beat? 16. So
16.
1, 2 there. 2 fails and then a Dex save from the tribal guy. All fails. They will all take 33. They're probably all dead. They're all dead. Yes.
Wow.
There's just a bunch of them standing up, covered in leaves, when this fireball goes off, and they are incinerated. Like nothing is left behind apart from a bunch of burning, smoldering leaves. As you just absolutely decimate them immediately. The screams are cut short pretty quickly, and then you hear the orc war chief shout into the group on the other side of the road.
Yeah, you still want some, huh, pal?
Yeah, they don't look. They all, by the way, realize that they're in over their heads and they shit themselves. I think it's very it's absolutely obvious that they're terrified, but they're not so intimidated they're going to run away or anything. But you have killed 3 of them immediately, Merlin. What else would you like to do?
I'm going to assist Fix out of the hole
Okay,
if
yeah.
I can. Yes.
Not really. Not really. You can't. No.
It's because I'm
Not
small.
unless you want to use telekinesis to like push her out of the hole, maybe. I guess.
Oh, can I do a gentle push?
I don't see why you can't. You can just
Ooh,
you can
okay.
choose to fail the save as well. Oh no, actually, I guess it's yeah. You could just choose to
All
fail
right.
the save. You just want to pick. The bonus telekinesis thing is so broken because there's no rules around it that I don't see
Right.
why realistically you couldn't just pick someone who's on your team up and move them the 5 feet or whatever it is if they are willing.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you willing that I gently push you out of the hole?
Throw me!
Here? Okay, I'm doing it.
Yeah, he picked you up.
All right. I'm gonna roll a d3 to see which group I see first. Oh, that's not how you do it. I guess it.
Slash first.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, slash R. There you go.
My fingers aren't working. All right. So I see this middle group first. So as I get pushed out of this hole, I'm gonna kind of turn it into like a combat roll and fire 2 Eldritch Blasts forward.
Oh, fuck yeah.
at the orc.
Yeah, I think what Merlin does there is negates the prone status for you, so you have your full movement.
Cool. In which case, yeah, I'll just
And you're doing an Eldritch Blast at one of each of them?
no, both at this orc.
Okay.
Try
Give me
and
the attack rolls.
minimize the amount of people who can attack.
13
So
is a
13
hit,
and a 22.
is a hit. Yeah, one blast strikes this orc in the chest. His head kind of moves back. He's stumbling through this bush, and then the next Eldritch Blast hits him in the neck and spins his head around at an awkward angle. You hear a horrible crunch as his neck snaps, and you kill him. He falls to the ground.
And I'm going to continue the momentum and sprint towards the tribal warrior, I think.
Okay, then. Roll me an intimidation check. With advantage.
Oh, hell yeah. 21?
21. This tribal warrior is freaking out as they run towards you. And you have... They literally will do nothing on their turn. It's Vita's turn.
Vita is quite far away. So Vita will use their full movement and rush over here, dash, and stand next to this tribal warrior.
Okay, Will's turn.
Let me see here. How far can I get? Back. Oh, there we go. No. Oh, yay. I can get in range. I'm just going to walk, not even run, just walk towards the war chief. And I will just yell at him in common and say, drop your sword and leave. And then I will ready in action.
Oh, I'm just gonna see if he has anything here. Yeah, go on. Keep talking.
I will ready in action to cast a spell if he does anything other than comply with what I just said on his turn.
He sees the wolf emblem on your chest, and he replies to you. He still has his great axe in hand, and he does look like he is gonna continue moving towards you. He doesn't look scared compared to the others, but maybe you get a sense that he's he's got a look of like, oops, what have I done? But not of abject fear like the warrior has. But he looks at the wolf emblem on your chest and says,
You, wolf.
I took it from your wolf.
You not take from wolf clan. Oh, me take it back.
Come and try.
They don't have any wolf insignia on them, by the way. They're probably a different clan. But let's see. So that you ready in action. Yep. Okay. Fire's turn.
Okay. I'm going to shoot. Which one was just speaking? The
war chief all the way up at the top.
Okay, so I don't like his attitude. And I'm gonna take a shot with my bow. Right at his face. 16.
16 is a hit.
Yeah. How deep is the hole in front of me?
Like 5-6 feet.
Okay. Then I will just move.
It works
next to
entirely
Merlin.
as intended and would be incredibly useful against just a cart or like a couple of merchants or whatever, but not against you lot. Not against 5 anime protagonists.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna flip over Merlin 3-point land and look up and go, is that all you got? Because now you've said that I'm an anime protagonist and I have to be.
Yep.
And that's my turn.
Okay. he takes the 6 piercing damage. I think he doesn't even, like, it does that thing where the arrow just kind of flies forward and hits him, but he doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they do that when bad guys do that. The tribal warrior in front of you, Fix, is freaking out. There's just absolute, like, too much happened that 3 of their comrades was immolated. The guy next to them, his head just, like, snapped, and then a tiefling went running towards them, screaming and freaking out, and they just don't do anything. But the one that is next to Vita will wildly swing at Vita with a spear. Here on an 11, I'm guessing that's a miss.
Makes
against.
it.
Oh, it is?
No, it's 11 armor, yeah.
All
He's
right.
got AC of 11.
He takes 8 piercing damage as they kind of wildly swing, like it's more of a baseball bat swing, I think, at Vita in the air, striking with Vita, turning him off of his stride or flight, but he rights himself in the air, spinning around. The orc next to you guys, I think. I'm gonna roll a dice here. Okay. So I think he is also going to go for Vita here, and he will attempt to swing a great axe. On a natural 1. Roll me a d20, please.
3.
3 means he has disadvantage on his next attack. Don't let me forget that. He kind of stumbles off balance, attempting to hit Vita, who's just flying around. I don't think he even knows what he's looking at. And then the war chief is going to run forward. So Will, whatever you're doing, do whatever you're doing.
I'll let him finish his movement first, like running towards me, and then cast my spell, which is hold person.
Hey, okay. So what is that? A whiz save?
Yes, that is a.
A 19.
Oh, he actually nailed it.
Yeah, Orc war chiefs for some reason get a +2 on their wisdom saving throws. So yeah, you cast this whole person, and then this enormous orc who is just an absolute towering, rippling orc of pure muscle, just continues to move forwards. There's a point where he builds up a little speed, and you notice that he slows down as your spell tries to wind around him and affect him and his movements, but he shakes it off and growls, running towards you. He is going to bring up his great axe. Oh wait, what is this other shit he can do here? Hold on.
Was he in range to attack me from there?
Yep, he has aggressive, which means as a bonus action he can move up to his speed towards a hostile creature that it can see. They're horrific.
That's a lot of movement.
Yeah. So 2 great axe attacks coming in for you. On a 13 and a 15, I think you two just begin to do the engagement of a very large thing, and Will, once again, the shield comes up, this axe hits this thing. Will, kind of just steadfast and indomitable in that enormous armor, takes the hit, shrugs it off while he brings his great axe round for a low swing again. You move backwards, and you two begin this back and forth in the center of the field here, and that is the end of his turn and the beginning of Merlin's turn. What do you want to do?
Okay, Merlin sees that there's an orc and a warrior on Vita, so he's gonna go this way. And oh wait, is this here? And he is going to cast lightning bolt on the 2 in his path.
Okay, we'll hit Vita as well.
What? It will?
Oh, I guess it won't actually. No, you're right. You can do it through those. Yeah? Okay, go for it.
Alright, let's do this thing.
Merlin's gone mad and drunk with power.
It's just insane. He's just casting his strongest spells immediately at anything he sees, but you're literally like 2 hours away from the city, so why not? You're probably not going to have to play something else. So,
Probably
not. Let's do 2 dex saves. 1 for the orc, 1 for the tribal guy. 2 fails, 2 fours.
Oh, wow.
So roll me 8d6. Although it's almost impossible for you not to kill him, I'd imagine.
31.
31.
It's horrific. Just like 3 of them have been reduced to ash by this insane flame that has been that was produced on the left-hand side of the road here, and then these 2 are kind of swinging at Vita when suddenly they're hit by just a torrent of electricity. Their clothes ignite, their weapons fall from their hands, and they are fried. Their hair burning off of their bodies, and what is left behind is just these shriveled skeletal forms. This much larger orc, this small, thin half-elf, as you destroy them with this just bomb of lightning that tears a line across the ground as well in 100-foot direction away from you. There's just there's nothing. There's nothing. You kill these 2. That's the wrong thing, but you kill these 2 easily with this lightning bolt. And
we gave them a warning, and we gotta be somewhere. We got no time for this.
Oh yeah, they messed with the wrong
shit.
party here. And is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
All right. Fix's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna turn to the tribal warrior in front of me, sort of grab him by the scruff of his neck and just look him straight in the eye and just say, run. And then let him go and Eldritch Blast the Orcish Warchief.
Okay. First of all, give me another intimidation check.
With advantage or normal?
I'll say no. He just wiped out 2 people. Yeah, give me with advantage. I just realized
25.
It didn't matter. You didn't need it. Yeah, he's running away. And then give me,
That's
Jesus.
a nat 20.
Nat 20
And a 13.
and a 13. Well, the nat 20 hits. That is 15 damage to the Warchief, who is engaged with you, Will. He brings this axe across your midriff as you dodge out of the way of it and maybe go for your own counterattack in some way, and then the back of his head is struck, and he literally, I think, stumbles into you a little bit because this deals 15 damage. And for him, it was probably like being hit by a tree or something. But he looks big and mean compared to the others, who maybe look a little smaller and weaker and thinner. Yep, you absolutely. Yep. Is that the end of your turn?
I'm gonna move towards Will, I think. I'm gonna move here. Yep.
Okay, Vita's turn.
Vita is having a real fun tour of the battle map and is gonna fly now over to the other side of the Warchief. And that's that.
Will's turn.
Okay. I think just watching everything else just die around us almost instantly, I'm just gonna look right at this guy and say, I warned you. And then I am going to demonstrate my newfound ability to smite twice in one turn.
Okay.
So
What?
when I said I warned you, that is Vow of Enmity going off, so I get advantage on my next 2 swings, and then I am going to swing at him twice. And heck with it, I'm gonna drop my shield and swing with both hands on the longsword for both swings, because why not? Let's have some fun with it.
All right.
There is a 19 and a
AC is 16, so do with it.
and a natural 20.
No.
Give me a moment.
You
Alright, that is
calculate all the damage and tell me what it is at the end.
Okay.
There's no resistances or anything.
This fight! What the hell?
Okay, so that is going to be
I love that some of the fights go so out of your favor, and then some of them just like this, where it's just like, yep.
so he's going to end up taking 25, 30, 50, 60, 70 damage. As I just
That is
literally
ridiculous.
How do you get it? How do you just tell me how you
As
do
I
it? You describe to me
lit-
exactly what you do here.
well, literally, Will just says, I warned you, and when the thing tries to swing at me, it gets hit by Fix's Eldritch Blast and only goes off balance for a second, and in that moment, take its arm off, and then take its head off. Bam,
Yeah.
bam, 2 swings, both of them are smites, and just obliterate this thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's exactly what happened. The remaining body and arm and legs kind of crumple to the ground, fall to one side. There's the sound of pitter-patter of feet of the tribal warrior just running away. They've dropped their spear and they're just running. It's just an absolute mad, maniacal flee from the space. Do you want to kill the tribal warrior, Fire? Or do you want to let them escape?
Oh, man. I'm gonna
It's
hold
a
up my...
free kill if you just want to
Yeah, I want to hold up my bow and just say, are we letting them go? I'll yell that to Fix.
I gave him the chance. Let him go.
Oh, you're no fun. I'll just put my bow down.
You know what I mean?
And congratulations, you have absolutely won the fight.
I will put my lightsaber away.
70? 70 damage?
That was crazy.
What?
Insane. And what did I tell you last week? You guys are noticing your strength, and I think that this is probably one of those moments where you kind of recognize it. You don't have to overtly recognize it or mention it, but I think you can all tell. Not only is Merlin just kind of he's just pulling the arcane weave and just bending it to his will, just summoning any element to immolate 3 dudes instantly and then electrocute 2 of them to death. Fix jumping up out of a hole, breaking an orc's neck with 2 eldritch blasts and literally fearing one of them away. And Fire was also there. It was crazy. And I think you all noticed it. I think you're all aware of it. I think Fire, you're very aware that you could have just popped this other one in the back of the head as you kind of like lowered the bow and arrow. You actually get some things for this fight. Now, what did I write down?
Ooh.
I have some nice pre-prepared encounters.
Can I get the war chief's brains?
Yeah, you're eating the brains immediately.
Okay, yeah.
The brains don't even hit the ground. They just Merlin just catches them and then he just starts breaking into the skull and eating it.
Doesn't that mean you guys memories as well?
Horrendous.
Yes,
yeah,
I
what
do.
does that mean? Yeah, this is a
I
humanoid.
do.
Hold on. This is a whole thing. You guys don't even realize. This is the first humanoid you've eaten.
Yeah, I
Yes,
really
it
wanted him to
is.
eat the brain of those guards that we found that time.
Oh, yeah,
It
so-
would have been so good.
Yeah, no, Will would have been so
Now,
mad at me,
here's
though.
how this works. Merlin's undead brains. When you consume the brains of a fresh body part, some of their thoughts are transferred to you. No memories are solid. Most are just a mixture of colors, shapes, and feelings. And as you begin to eat this, you recognize that part of them is passed over to you. You learn a part of the creature's main language, which is Orcish, when you consume their brain. You must consume the brains of 2 separate creatures to gain proficiency in its language. You have
Is there
1/2 of a proficiency in Orcish.
Yeah, I
There's
would
another
eat the
brain
other.
over there.
Yeah, no,
Do you want to go around eating brains today?
Yeah. I
Fill
do.
up on
the
brains?
one that Fix killed over there.
Yeah.
I will. Yes.
You're like running around on all fours eating brains, and it isn't like you can't like just bite into it like an apple. You have to like break through. It's horrific to witness. Like Merlin is
Probably
there,
cracking it like a
So you use
coconut.
a
cracking it with a thing, gets a rock, brings out his quarterstaff, and is like it, and then just cuts through this. It's absolutely horrific to witness. And
just
he
standing there
begins
proud.
to eat the brains of these corpses around. You would get these guys would speak. Yeah, this would only be Orcish here, because these guys
That's fine.
would have common, so you already have it. And do you speak Elvish? I think you do.
Yeah, I do.
So you can add proficiency in Orcish. While Merlin is
Yes.
eating this stuff, there's probably just points where he starts, he's like speaking normal, and then he's probably saying stuff like, but probably Merlin, you don't realize it, but you're speaking to the others and you kind of slip in and out of Orcish every now and then. You're getting all these weird feelings and thoughts and kind of distorted memories as you eat these brains from these guys. You probably start to feel a little bit kind of aggressive almost. One of their main traits, as these particular orcs from this particular clan and They're very aggressive in their nature, and I think you probably start to growl, and there are just points where the others will notice this from Merlin over the course of the time. You lot, however, can probably start to look over the stuff on these guys. Now, they have absolutely no money and no food because that's what you were supposed to provide them, and you didn't. Instead, you deleted them from existence. But they do have some stuff. So, each of you roll me a d20. Not Merlin, sorry. Merlin's got brains.
That he does.
Okay, fix on a 19. You get... Okay. Roll me an Arcana check.
Don't get to do that very often. 15.
You pick up an enchanted dagger. And you pull this off of the war chief himself. On him, you find a dagger that it has a hilt that it looks like a normal dagger, but when you pick it up, you recognize that the hilt has some engravings on it that are just arcane emblems. It's not a language or anything like that. As you touch it, which hand do you pick it up with?
Probably the gauntlet hand.
Perfect. As soon as you do so, you immediately recognize the magic within this thing. The blade on this pretty small dagger frosts over a moment, and you recognize that this is a dagger that freezes anyone it stabs, but it will shatter after one use. Depending on how you use it, wow, just closed everything almost. Depending on how you use it, depends on like what it will do, but mechanically I'm going to say it kind of just does a miss a turn thing. It will freeze them for one turn, and I'll write this all down for you in a minute, but if you use it outside of combat, it will freeze someone, and it could be used potentially in a different way, so we'll see how it is. But that's what that one is. What was the next dice? Yeah. My computer just did that thing where, you know, when you bring a thing to the edge of the screen and it shrinks all of them, and I hate it so much. And
there's a shortcut to undo it, but I can never remember what it is.
I do that once an episode. Every week I do it. It's infuriating.
I absolutely cannot stand it. Nothing makes me more angry, and I'm ready to lose my mind. Did you say 7?
7.
You find a potion. Roll me an investigation check.
Okay.
Boom! You've seen this before. This is in fact a potion that originated presumably from the Irish tree. It is a shadow elf potion, the type of thing that somebody who is trained in some form of espionage might want to use, or whatever. This is a potion that causes the drinker to lose the ability to speak for 1 hour.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's what that one is. And then Will rolled a 9. And this one might be... let's see. Will, you find a yo-yo. I mean, you got 2 really cool items from this list, but you pull out this like they're pulling out all this crazy stuff. There's really not a lot on these guys. Like they have like a few rudimentary weapons. There's really not much here that's gonna that is mind blowing. So you don't find really any coins. You don't find any food. You don't find a lot of stuff on them. Fix finds this magical dagger. Merlin needs a bunch of brains. Fire finds this potion that she recognizes, and then you find yo-yo.
I'd like to just go on the record
very
right now.
Very basic looking wooden yo-yo.
We need to go on the record right now and say I'm going to kill someone with this yo-yo.
All right.
You strangle an enemy with it.
I love the
Then you
idea
do
of
a
you
trick.
throwing it in the path of like one of your blasts and just embedding it in someone's eye socket or something.
And what was the last one? The last one was the dagger, which will freeze someone and shatters upon use. Okay, I'm just writing it down for myself because I will forget within the 3 minutes that are left in this episode. So,
Oh,
yeah,
the axe
you,
this guy was carrying, is it intact? Like,
oh, the
can I
great
double
axe.
Yeah, I just want to look at his axe and see if it looks special or if it was just like a
Roll me a
generic cheap axe.
D20. We'll see if it's above a 10 is a sort of not an absolute piece of trash. Ooh, a natural 20.
Jesus,
Yeah,
how
that
many
means it's like
today?
actually just a decent craftsmanship.
Yeah, it's what it probably is just a standard great axe. But roll me a D10.
Okay. A 4.
A 4. In this is you realize that while this thing is probably a great axe that he has taken off of someone at some point, rather than the typical orcish war axe, kind of a rudimentary large thing that is often just kind of tied together. This thing actually has a little gem in the hilt, a little emerald that you can pop out if you want, and would be worth 4 gold.
I mean, it looks like it was probably stolen, right?
Yeah, you can also it would just have the price of a normal great axe on top of that. So that is how much can you sell a great axe for? The roll 20 is stopped, but it doesn't matter. You rolled a
Okay,
4.
well, regardless, I'm going to take it with me. Just because you never know. We might bump into someone who's going to be like, my priceless family heirloom axe was stolen by an orc.
This is probably worth about... Well, let's round it up. They said this is about worth... This axe, if you sold it in town, would be worth about 35 gold. So let's just say a decent great axe. Gem... What was it? Emerald in hilt. Worth about 35 gold pieces. So you know what? You get that and a yo-yo.
Okay, yeah, I'll just take it with me. You know, worst case scenario, I'll sell it, but
Yeah.
maybe somebody out there wants it back. I'll keep it for now.
Yeah. And I think really
Actually, I can, between the armor from the other orc and the axe now, I could just like put a helmet on and people are gonna think I'm one of the orc marauders at this point.
Yeah, mate. I mean, your armor doesn't look like orc-ish armor anymore with the adornments and the changes made from the woman, but it definitely you look super imposing. You know, in Fable, when you take like the evil route and your armor kind of just looks awesome by the end of it, you probably just look like that. And yeah, I think probably you guys spend a little while here. Merlin alone has to spend a decent amount of time eating brains. So
I take my time.
you each maybe spend at least an hour here going over this stuff, finding the things, moving the bodies off the road. And do you fill in the hole?
We should.
With the bodies.
Yeah.
With the bodies?
With the bodies.
We should bury them in the hole.
In the road, like literally in the road. And then
Bury
cover
them
it
in
with
their
the
own
dirt.
trap.
It's weird
Yeah.
because that part of the road always smells every time we ride past it. I
Yeah.
just don't know
It's
why.
really strange that. It's always
Yeah,
bumpy.
weird.
Okay, in that case, I need one more dice roll, and this one will be from Merlin for eating the brains. Give me a D12.
Oh, okay. D12?
Yeah,
4.
4. Okay. Probably. You guys head out after about an hour or so. Catch your breath after the encounter. Sort out the remains and maybe clean Merlin's mouth of brains and continue on the path. And over the next 2 or 3 hours, you follow the path pretty peacefully, I think. Nothing really going on. You don't see any merchants until you see, and I think you would still get there during the hours of daylight, would you? Oh no, you wouldn't. You'd be arriving at night time. You would hear that sound on the wind of a city, of a town, as you approach that plateau once again of Kira. up ahead, and you can, I guess, pause or rest for the evening at Kira would probably be a good idea. So we'll assume that you're going into Kira, and that's where we'll end our session. And next week it is the road to Gerfreda. And that is the end of today's session. Thank you so much for playing, players, and absolutely ruining everything that there is to kill today. I think it was a lot of successful combat. And a few items picked up on the way, and a couple of blessings and boons in preparation for the road ahead. Thanks so much for watching, everybody that is watching. We're going to do a round of shout outs here to find out where you can find these players during the week on their own channels on Twitch, doing whatever it is they do, and then we'll see you next time. Let's start with the demon mage, the absolute beast that Merlin has become. Who are you in real life?
Hello. Hi, I'm Erthax. I played Merlin for you today. You can find me Twitch and Twitter at Erthax. I play variety and do some role play as well. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out, guys. And awesome episode as always, gang. Appreciate you and happy holidays.
Yes, there is no crazy date next week, right? We're all here. 30th. Yeah. 30th isn't a date, is it? I always forget until it gets to the week, and then I'm like, oh god, is it on Christmas? We did Darkfire on Christmas one year. All right, what about you, Fire? What are you doing in the week? And where?
I'm doing more roleplay. You can find me at Brutalbury everywhere, and I'm currently heavily addicted to Red Dead RP. So if you want to see me roleplaying as a character that is not at all similar to Fire, check me out. I stream basically every day, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And happy Toyotathon, everyone.
No idea what that is.
It's a holiday sale that Toyota does, okay?
Oh.
Toyota?
Cool.
Toyotathon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Happy Chrysler.
Alrighty.
Merry Kermis.
Okay. What about you, Fix? What are you doing this week and where?
I'm bad. I just finished playing Halo Infinite, and I'm gonna be starting Halo ODST tomorrow because I wanted another slice of nostalgia. And then I might start the Witcher 3 DLC because I haven't played Blood and Wine yet, and I've been kind of hankering for it after watching the series on Netflix. But I'll probably be live in like 30 minutes playing Red Dead RP, with a wildly different character and having a bit of fun over there. So feel free to come check me out at twitch.tv/Leah. And yeah, it's a really good session. I really liked today. It was a lot of badassery, which always feels good. So
Killing it.
thank you.
And last but not least, the man who is in absolute tip-top health, Will. But who are you in real life, and are you in tip-top health?
Hi, my name's Jesse. You can find me over at twitch.tv/fairlight_excalibur, where I unfortunately failed my con save IRL. Been having fun with COVID, but I'm not going to let a little thing like that stop me from playing Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if I'll actually be live tonight, though. I think I might take a little time off while I'm recovering. But normally, you can find me. Normally, you can find me streaming every day, variety gaming, whatever's interesting, which lately has been League of Legends, Blame Arcane, yada yada. You know the drill. And thank you all for watching, and thank you, Brad, for DMing. Can we do the usual? Tell Brad how awesome he is.
Yeah,
Everybody go check out Brad.
Everyone go check out Brad at twitch.tv/ninja. Yes. Thanks so much for playing, players. Make sure you go and follow these people and give them some Christmas Twitch primes or something like that. If you've got some cash hanging out of your pocket, go and give it to some of these children. It has been several months of their entertainment for you, and you owe them money, okay? And if you don't give them it, we're going to send Merlin round to kick your door in and immolate everyone in sight, and then eat their Brains.
Yum.
And yes, please check out some of the other shows we have going on Table Story. I don't believe that there is a rhyme of the Frost Maiden show tomorrow evening because it is Christmas Eve, and I'm guessing a bunch of them are doing family Christmas things. But we do have shows on Wednesday. I think it's just Wednesday and Thursday this week, so we'll see you next time for that. And I think that's it. That's it. Rhyme Shill show next Friday, which means chaos probably. We'll see you next time for more Mistlight. Thanks again for watching. See you next week. Peace. Bye. Bye.